Hey everybody, it's pal Drew once again with comics from my spinner rack. I'm Drew Dracy, and I am a 30-year comics professional in DC, Marvel, Cross-Gen, Dark Horse, Image, IDW. And a long time before that, I was a big old fanboy, and guess what? I still am. So, let's get right to it. Action Comics with Justice League and New Teen Titans. I don't know if it was a sales thing because the Superman titles were kind of floundering for a while, which made the reboot with that Mike Carlin had shepherded with John Byrne and others a pretty good fix. So it all depends on your perspective. Love his cover. Gil Kane inking himself. I've always loved that signature. So I'll get right to it. This is so weird having all this dead space on one side and all the busy stuff on the left, but that's okay. He's looking at a supercomputer and he's not getting any, he can't figure out what's going on. And Marv Wolfman's writing it, so you'll know the Titans especially will get really good true dialogue and attitude. Here is Brainiac. He was recently redesigned. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why they don't have Brainiac in the movies. It's always Lex Luthor. Well, you can only tap that well so many times. I mean, maybe not get him, maybe not, remove him entirely because he is part of the cast. But come on, man, do some Brainiac on us. So wow, such smooth stuff. Oh. I love the lines on Clark Kent's face. Actually, both their faces. Really good. And this is pretty tight inks because, towards the end of the 80s, he got really, really loose. And when he inked himself on Green Lantern in the 60s, it was magnificent. So he's still going on strong, although you wouldn't tell by the way I'm not focused. There. We'll get through that. Basically, Superman and Clark Kent shows up and ready to raise hell with the boss, and it's Morgan Edge. So it sort of was weird that he would show up when he didn't want to show up. It's hard to explain, but here we go. Some more glorious art. That big panel towards the bottom is really, really great stuff. And we get beautiful, beautiful page. Oh, I can't imagine seeing that up close. The original art. Got the Atom. Now, I have to be frank. I've never really known Kane to be a swiper. He did a little bit on the first two issues. He did of Tales to Astonish with the Hulk that had Abomination. And he did a little bit on the two issues of Tales of Suspense with Captain America. This time, I'm almost certain Green Arrow, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash were Jose Luis Garcia Lopez version of the, what do they call that? Model sheets. And maybe the whole thing, I don't know. But that's okay. Good day. Look at all the army. Look at all the invaders. So sweet. And there you go. Lots of beautiful action. I like this. Starfire goes up to attack Brainiac and gets knocked down, but look how the body language goes. And she's at basically the same distance as she's leaving as she is returning. Really enjoyable. And there is Lois. Back to the action. Hawkman getting at that big old mace. And you have Terra before people knew she was a terrorist. Lame ass pun, I know. Lame. But I ain't gonna re-record this, so I'll keep my embarrassing comments intact. Nice stuff. Really great stuff. Batman the Outsiders, good book. With a lot of extras that I really like. There goes that shipping. Come on, DC movies. James Gunn, pay attention. I'm like, oh, we're finally free. We'll hit the road. Now we go to the Trial of the Falcon. It was discovered several issues prior to this that Sam Wilson had a post-hypnotic what do they call it? Post-hypnotic suggestion years ago, like before he met Captain America. He was the real history with his nickname called Snap Wilson instead of Sam Wilson was that he was he was a criminal, and apparently Red Skull decided to make him like completely wholesome and happy to meet Captain America on this abandoned island. Like, so he had no memory of being a criminal, but he was just very, he didn't act like a criminal, he acted like a hero. And the whole thing was just for sort of it was one of those long-range plans, because that happened. It supposedly happened in issue like 118, and then in 186 is when it was revealed. So Red Skull was really playing long ball. It seems a little forced after so many years, but apparently Sam Wilson has to. Basically Falcon was going to lead Cap into the Skull's arms, but he fought the Skull like twice between these two issues. So it's a mess, but it's a fun mess. This is a Sal Buscema cover. You don't see a lot of that because he's usually doing like 9 books a month. So anyway, they both get stranded on this island of the exiles, who are Skull's cronies, Red Skull's. Stilt Man, I just love that character. I don't know why. He's goofy, but anyway, Tony Isabella plotted it, Bill Mantlo scripted it, Frank Robbins on the art, and D. Bruce Berry. And you know what? I like D. Bruce Berry's stuff. I don't know a whole lot about him, but he really kind of, I don't say he sobers up the pencils. I'm not suggesting that Robbins was an alcoholic. I'm just saying his stuff gets really crazy. And real nice stuff. So this is acting director for S.H.I.E.L.D. He wants to put Falcon on trial. Falcon kind of hits the road. Cap stops him. Is this where we dissolve our partnership? Don't mess around, Sam, please. I told you I'd stand by you all the way. We've got to go before a judge with your case. And Sam's memory came back from when he was Snap Wilson. Well, here comes Fury, Nick Fury. Dig that. It's Cochran, Nick. He's got them playing off each other. Cochran, yes. Oh, Val, why don't you show Cap and Falcon a nice cozy spot where they can cool off? And me, Mr. Co-Director, and me go into my place for a little chat. So he reaves the guy. I love that power pose he has. And there's Lila. So he's just hanging out here. They're trying to figure out what to do with. Now all of a sudden there's this really bad past that the Falcon has of Sam Wilson. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. And Nick Fury will do anything he can if it's within his jurisdiction. So he shakes Cap's hand, hands him a priority information that if he wants to join as a full-time member of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though Cap worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. a lot during the Steve Englehart era. What's interesting, this is during the Iron Man Knows era, and I guess nobody told Frank Robbins, and the rest were like, okay, we won't say anything. I dig those glasses, man. So they're all cronies from the previous life that Sam had. Here comes the Stilt Man, baby. And this is a really great layout. Look how his leg goes over here. It's used as, it separates the panels. You see all this important stuff here. And then he's flying into a leg. It's a great payoff. He grabs all the Trapster's weapons and such, lets him go safely into a palm tree, and he interrupts the court proceedings. That's the word. Yeah. And he throws some gloppy glue at them. Gloppy glue. That always struck me as weird. Headbutting. Yeah, not the best plan. I mean, you got a shield and fists and everything. I love that page. That is really, really menacing looking. And it takes a lot for Stingray to look menacing. That right there with the drop-offs of the lines on the face. Beautiful. And Redwig helps save Falcon, and Falcon pretty much takes him out. Bam. Well, it turns out that Falcon will need a parole officer, and that parole officer is Nick Fury. So he's like, "Hey, what do you hear? What do you say?" And it all works out. So, and this is 2 issues before Kirby. So, jump cut to Marvel Comics Presents. I saw this the other day in the dollar bin. Oh, I got it only because of this guy, Stingray. I love that guy so much. He's such a great character. And really nice cover by Juden Bregman and her husband, Roy Richardson. And she co-created Power Pack. And I actually got the ink her on it, issue of Soldier, number 12. So it was delightful. Opening story's got to be Wolverine, of course, and it's done by Dave Ross and inked by Dan Day, and it's terrific. When Ross was doing West Coast Avengers, I can't remember who inked him, but it was really heavy and kind of made, especially on the faces. But these are much lighter lines. And this 3-tiered panel, really, really wonderful storytelling. Really, really good stuff. So, Wolverine actually makes up with the Hulk. It was misunderstanding because they both have things to take care of. Meanwhile, Werewolf by Night. Love that last panel. This is by Jim Fry. Really cool stuff. And I've never been into Werewolf by Night, but I love the art in here. Wow. He did those issues of Moon Knight that I covered in the on my other channel from the Mark Spector Moon Knight Omnibus number 2. He did about a year on it, and it was really, really great. But here comes the Silver Dagger, old-time foe of Doctor Strange. And here is Stingray, penciled by Jim Fern, who I know from CrossGen. I inked a commission over him once, and nice guy. But man, the design of that costume is just brilliant. I'm pretty sure like Marie Severin designed it because she was the artist on Artist in Resident when it came to designing covers and such for Marvel after Kirby left. Tiger Shark Baby. There's more. And then there's the Collective Man. He's an Asian fellow who has to... He has several brothers that they kind of fuse together, and they have the power of 4 or 5 guys. So, not terribly exciting, but it was good. I'm glad I got this. Now we got Neil Adams, Continuity Studios, Continuity Comics. How about that for a cover? Beautiful. Let's see if Neil did that or if somebody else did. I don't know if it says anything. But anyway, not important. Bucky O'Hare, which became a pretty popular toy line and cartoon, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm thinking of the right thing. Larry Hama. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. And let's just soak up the art. Tippy Toe Jones, Lindsay Farley, and Louise Mitchell. Very different. It's so wacky. It's like everybody else is drawn realistic except him, and he's a nice guy and everybody else is a dick. So he takes off his head and uses it as a bowling ball. Pagoda, looks like the Bad News Brothers finally run out. Do you have any parting words before I run them in? Yeah, merely this. I believe Shakespeare, the card of Avon, said it best when he said, "Be it so noble of thy modest son of a bitch, who knows his own worth, but doth not know the worth of his enemy." What does that mean? When you fuck around with TTJ, you can expect to be fucked. And this came out like in the early 80s, so it was kind of outrageous to have the F word. Ooh. Frankenstein by Neil Adams. Love the logo. So the coloring's nice too. It's about 1982, I think it is. Virus. I like this because it's a completely different style. It's sort of like John Bolton, almost. I gotta see if there's any naked person there. Okay, I want to make sure I don't get, Arthur Sidham Woodwogs. He did Charlie and Flytrap, and he did a ton of those Marvel Zombie covers that were phenomenal. And you got you some John Workman lettering. So overall, it's great. Pacific Comics. Let me see what year this is. Oh, 1984. That's about right. So I'm gonna have to get some more of these issues. A lot of the continuity comics didn't. A lot of them didn't make it past issue 5 because Neil was making real money as an advertising artist with his assistants as well, and he did comics with a lot of assistants, but he would put his polish at the end. After all the art would be done, he would dress up to make the art look more like his, and it was an open thing. It wasn't like he was, tormenting assistants or anything. It was just that when people buy a Neil Adams book, they expect a certain amount of quality, and that's what he provided. And that's it for that one. Last one. I got a tickle in my throat. This is a total trip. I wasn't buying Daredevil at this time. I was kind of tight on funds, and I didn't keep picking this up. It just got really... It went in a total different direction than what I thought it should, but looking back, it's great. And there's a reason that the reprints in the Marvel Epic collection got a second printing of both. There were two of them with Ann Nocenti and John Romita Jr. And John Romita Jr. explained that his career was hurting for a while because he was on X-Men, very happy doing it. And when Jim Shooter wanted to do his new universe and have Starbrand come out first, which was a very personal story of Shooter's, where the guy in Pittsburgh and the female woman, the woman who is the secondary character, were based a lot on Shooter himself. He took Romita Jr. off of X-Men to do this Starbrand, and it didn't sell for anything. So for a while there, John Romita Jr., times pass, editors, come and go. He was sort of not really... He had to rebuild his career from the bottom up by no means of his own. So he took over Daredevil. He says, I'm going to stay with this book. I'm going to get really great on it, or I'm going to do my best, improve each month, and then, rebuild my career and make it distinctive and in demand. So this is a Acts of Vengeance crossover. It's an old a trick where they get like all the bad guys together and they say, let's switch opponents. Why don't we have, this guy fighting this guy? But it's a great one. So, and this is so trippy because Innocenti's, script is great. Oops. And you got Al Williamson, who I think inked the entire run that Romita Jr. did. So there is Ultron. Look at that beautiful cover. Splash. Oofa. And there's another one. All these Ultron heads. And I love the body that Romita gave Ultron. So different. Meanwhile, Daredevil and Karnak and Gorgon from the Inhumans are waylaid. Oh, and this lady too. I can't think of her name. Love that rendering there on Karnak. Not the Johnny Carson Karnak, the Jack Kirby Karnak. See, there's the overall image with the big shoulders. That's really ahead of its time. And what I like is, I feel like there's a little bit of John Byrne in here too, because that reminds me of Terminus from Fantastic Four. But I mean, Romita Jr. was really, really going all out to make this real dreamy kind of weird story work. If you were going to have Daredevil fight Ultron, even a suggestion of that it's stupid on the surface if it was handled by any lesser talents. But they, both Ann and JRJR, make it fantastic. And convincing. That's the big part. Convincing. I'm trying to think what happened. What happened here? Something. No, don't. What are you doing? It must be in my head. It is a bad circuit. Is it memory? Is it desire? Is it delusion? Is it Memorex? Which circuit keeps me from being happy? So that's he tries to take his head off, and he gets hit from behind. And instead of letting him just go ahead and do it, I guess. Crack. You wicked, who are you? So manic, so fearless, so courageous. Perhaps you are the perfect man. No, far from it. The perfect man would have found a better way than this. And he was just to take off his head with the billy club. He had placed the billy club in the neck. I don't know if I showed you that or not. One moment, please. Okay. I don't know where it is. Well, anyway, read the book. It's great. This era, Innocenti does some real, like, existentialism and just real heavy stuff, and it goes on for years. And they even have an issue where Mephisto is fighting Daredevil on some kind of otherworldly plane, and the Silver Surfer shows up, and it's done with such brilliance of John Romita Jr. that it just works. It's just crazy. The two of them just threw everything in there, and they also co-created legendary Typhoid Mary, who is still considered a great villain. And I'm trying to think of who else. They did. There's this guy named Bullet, who was this big brawler and a single father, and they kind of he was kind of like he was an enforcer, but it was sort of a. That's the only way he knew how to make a living, and he was concerned about his son. Just all kinds of wild shit going on there. And they even did a crossover with Inferno, where Hell's Kitchen was on fire. It guest starred the Human Torch. Just a really wild just bursting with ideas that were out of the box. It wasn't a typical Marvel superhero comic. And I hope you like it. My episode, that is. Let me know. I've got a cough in my throat, so I'm taking a cough drop, and I had to take a couple of breaks during this episode to cough it out. And I'm better now. I'm going to wrap up before I start another coughing fit. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell for notifications, and hit like if you like my episode. And that's about it. Leave whatever comments that will help fill the gaps in my memory, and tell me if this is like one of your favorite eras, or the Neil Adams stuff, etc. And I welcome all comers. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Bye. Oh, I forgot. I did this on my other channel, but I do commissions. This is like actual size. I did this 8.5 by 11, I think. And pencil and inked. Love me some Iron Man. This is, I was given a photocopy of the late great Dick Giordano's Batman sketch, and I tweaked it. So much fun. And a cover recreation of the first appearance of Deadman, painstakingly copied. I even do the comics code. 11 by 17 that I do it. I usually charge about $250 for each one. And 11 by 17. Oh, love the Abomination. Tales of Suspense, Captain America and Iron Man. What I did different this time was, it's basically the same cover, but I made the cube the light source. So that's why you're barely seeing his hand, and that's why Cap's shadows are different from the published version. And the shield covers up part of his leg. Just all kinds of fun. So that's all. If you can contact me at drewdracycomics@gmail.com. And now I'm signing off. I keep forgetting to plug myself. I'm like the worst promoter. Take care. Bye.